I'm here with Chenara Johnson. She's a fellow in emergency radiology at OHSU, and we're going to go over the common work list for the Human Disease Project. And Chenara, feel free to jump in if you have any questions. That's what this is all about. It's about being interactive. So here we have the Orbit for Chrome extension and the uBlock Origin extensions already installed. And I'm on a page on Radiopedia. I could be on a radiographics or other eligible page in order for the discovery bar down here to show up. The initial view is the history, and I can switch to the collaboration view right here, just clicking on these bars right here. And now I'm going to click View All to expand out the side menu. Initially, you'll see the main view that shows the differential diagnosis and the lab's imaging and procedures for a particular disease that's been detected from the page. But we're interested in this new feature, the common work list, and that's under this new tab called Human Disease Project. So I'm going to click here. And this is a sample account. And what you can see at the top here first is that you're going to be able to edit your public profile. This is what other users in Orbit Discovery see whenever you contribute. Even as an individual collaborator, you're recognized for your contributions. So when someone sees that you added an element to a disease entity, they can click on your name and see your public profile. You'll want to make sure that's cleaned up. So here you can click plus on this camera to upload your own professional photo, or not professional. If it's a recreational photo, that's fine too. And then here you can edit the text under public profile. So you can see this is starting out as your profile might start out completely blank in the about or editorial contributions. And so I'm going to hit edit just to show you. It opens in a new tab, and this is just the profile view on your Orbit account. So down at the very bottom of the profile view, here's the very top where you can upload and edit your own avatar. Down at the very bottom is the Human Disease Project public profile stuff. So I can add an institution. I'm just going to add Orbit as my institution. Of course, you'll just add your institution. For Chenara, it's OHSU. For specialty, I'll put radiology, and my subspecialty is neuro, so I'll put that here. And then personal statement, I'll just put for now, this is a sample personal statement. Feel free to contact me at support@orbitcme.com. So you can put your email address in there if you want other collaborators to contact you, but do know that this is a public profile. So don't be surprised if someone emails you if you put your email address into your personal statement. Okay, let's go back to the rest of the work list, which is this Worklist tab, different from the public profile tab, is the part that is going to allow us to kind of have work asynchronously. So at the top here, you see a scoreboard that's going to show you your progress with the collaboration. So how many edits have you submitted? How many were actually accepted by an editor? How many were rejected by an editor? And then there'll be some other scoreboard elements. The scoreboard is going to change over the next few months as we start to add more features to it, but it should be explanatory and in this basic structure where you can see your acceptance rate for the edits that you're submitting as a notion of quality. Your acceptance rate is really private to you. That's for your feedback. But what your goal is to get as many submitted as possible. And as you cross thresholds for the number that you submit, your number of qualified abstracts will increment up. And then as we start to publish abstracts, you'll go from qualified to published, which is really the goal for the collaboration. And then ultimately, you can actually earn CME credits even now as a resident or a fellow. You're not earning the credit itself. You're earning basically in-store points to use as credits when you're done with your certifying exam and you're out there practicing. You'll have these credits stored up. You already have 5 credits stored up in your account just for using Discovery, but you'll be able to redeem these articles that you're accessing for AMA PRA category credit as an attending for all the work that you're doing as a resident, which is pretty great. So here's the work list, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Chenara, do you have any questions so far?
I do, actually. Number one, the earned credits that you said can be used as faculty, so they don't expire?
That's right. Yeah, boost credits. Normally, you can actually purchase boost credits. Even in this account, you can purchase them a la carte, and they don't expire as long as you have an active account.
Okay. And will we talk about the topic rearrangements later, or?
Yeah, exactly. That's this tab right here. We'll talk about that as the second topic. For sure.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
So yeah, so at this point in time, there are 2 major activities that you can engage in. One is curating the diseases and procedures that are recommended for a given primary disease topic. Like, for instance, I'm on this page, ganglioglioma. The primary disease topic for this page is ganglioglioma. Here's the differential diagnosis for the page, and here are the proposed imaging and labs that would be helpful to a medical student, for example, referencing this page and thinking about what to order next, or even an early radiology resident who's thinking about what to recommend as a protocol for a study type. And so that's the first activity. And what we've done here is provided you a list of untouched diseases where none of our collaborators have actually gone through and made sure that the differential diagnosis looks complete and that the recommended procedures looks complete. And although it says DDX section here, really in truth, you should, when you're reviewing this disease, you should look at both the DDX section and the procedure section to make sure they're as complete as possible. And what's cool about the collaboration is that every entity that you add or remove, whether it's a procedure or a disease, counts towards this number right here. So it's not just about, if you'd worked really hard on a single disease like an acetabular dysplasia, let's say it had 6 different elements that you added to it, either procedures or differential diagnoses, or you removed some, all of those get tabulated towards your total right here. So the way you work through this is that you'll hit edit and it'll hop to the acetabular dysplasia page. But you might be interested in a specific topic. Let's say you're on the neuro rotation, or you're on a emergency medicine rotation. You can select the exact topic that you are paying attention to right now. Or maybe you're studying for the core exam and brushing up on differential diagnoses and using this just as an adjunct activity to kind of think about certain areas. So let's just take, for example, I'm interested in trauma. So I'm going to hit trauma. Of course, Chenara, you're very interested in trauma as a discipline. And so here, by clicking trauma, I filtered only for things that are in the realm of trauma, marked as trauma. Of course, in the emergency medicine, emergency radiology section, you're dealing with neuro, you're dealing with abdominal imaging, etc. So a lot of the diagnoses like diverticulitis may not be under the trauma section. It's probably under one of these body sections. So you can see here, there are only 6 topics under trauma at this current point in time, but you could click on one of these and then start to populate a differential diagnosis. So here I see wedged fracture and an item under differential and labs imaging procedures. If I hit edit, and I can skip ahead, I can pick out the easy ones or pick out the hard ones or the interesting ones. And if I hit edit, it's going to hop the entire page to a reference page. Radiopedia just happens to be a useful reference page because it's free and available. And then it allows me to review and check for any misses in the differential diagnosis. Now, in this case, it looks like this was signed by a faculty member, and so I'm suspecting this is fairly complete, but that's fine. There's more to go to over here, and so you can see, maybe trauma was sparse, so I can go and select all of these brain-related items in addition to trauma or without it, and close out the filter, and you can see there's 97 waiting to be reviewed here. So once I finish reviewing, let's say I'm going to concentric sclerosis, kind of related in the family of multiple sclerosis. So once I've edited this stuff here, look, labs imaging procedure completely empty. I can click add procedure. It looks like some other collaborators have been starting to suggest things, so I can agree with them just by clicking plus on these items and then ranking them. I think a CT head is probably a little superfluous when you're really looking for demyelination, so I think this is fine. I'm not quite sure about the role of perfusion. I might read through here to see if I agree with the recommendation for perfusion, or go to another article, and you can actually see some high yield articles just by scrolling down here. Here's an AJNR article on baloconcentric sclerosis. I can kind of check this recommendation on perfusion before I just agree to it. And I could add other things. I could add lab tests. Let's say I want to add a CBC. That's actually in here. Of course, not relevant to this entity, but there might be an antibody test that's relevant to multiple sclerosis or to demyelinating conditions that I might add in there. There's over 3,500 lab tests that are available to add in the system, as well as imaging procedures. So that's the, now that you're done, you actually have to find your way back. So you have to click Human Disease Project, come back to the DDX and procedure revisions area. And you'll see your submitted edits will start to tick upwards. Every time you refresh your screen, these numbers will refresh. They don't refresh automatically, so you might hit refresh there, or if the page reloads, these numbers will be fresh. And now, Chenara, this is the section you were asking about, which is primary disease topic reassignments. This is probably one of the faster ways to rack up points towards your edits, because what it's asking you to do in this collaboration activity is to look at an article title for an article that is typically not a radiology article. In this case, these are articles in the internal medicine literature, and to make sure that the natural language processing is doing a good job in classifying the topic. So, and many times, especially with a discipline outside of radiology, the natural language processing has a much harder time matching up against the primary topic. Sometimes it's very hard to find one just on the basis of context. Like if the primary topic is anaphylaxis, what exactly do you recommend as a radiology topic that matches against anaphylaxis? The answer might be, in that case, something like a topic that is iodinated contrast reactions, because that's about as close as we get in radiology to focusing extensively on the topic of anaphylaxis. So, so here, what I'd like you to do if you're just getting started with this collaboration is check if there's anything under the emergency medicine or EM topic, because all of these topics, this spreads across all of internal medicine. We're trying to start by laser focusing on emergency medicine because there's so much imaging that's being ordered through there. And so I'm going to filter by EM. And of course, Chenara, this is your subspecialty. And so a great place for you to start just on that basis. And what you can see here is the primary topic that's been suggested and an option to edit that topic. And so here, let's just do one together. Acute compartment syndrome of the extremities is the name of the article. So I can right click. If I'm on a Mac, I'll do Control and then click and open a new tab. This opens up the article that we're trying to help the NLP process. It happens to be an up-to-date article, acute compartment syndrome of the extremities. And what I want to make sure is that it's mapped to something sensible. And so here, right now, it's being mapped to abdominal compartment syndrome, which I don't like. And so what I'm going to do is hit edit. And it's going to open up the article, and it's going to allow me to change the primary topic right here. So I'm going to search for compartment syndrome. And here you can see there's acute compartment syndrome, abdominal, and this is of the extremities. So the closest I can get here is, I think, acute compartment syndrome. So I'm going to select that instead of this abdominal. And I'm done now. So I have to now make my way back. I could, review this in situ, confirm, okay, it did reassign acute compartment syndrome to acute compartment syndrome of the extremities. That looks good. But now I have to find my way back, which we are improving this flow. So it should remember that I was on the primary disease topic tab. That'll be rolled out as an improvement in the coming weeks. For now, you have to find your way back, and then you can go to the next topic. And approving it means you agree with the natural language processing selection. Here they talk about acute viral encephalitis in children, manifestations and diagnosis. Herpes simplex encephalitis is the primary topic that it's matched to. I think that's pretty good. It's a specific disease entity, and I'm going to go ahead and approve it. It is a viral encephalitis. So whatever differential is underneath it is going to be useful to someone looking this stuff up on this article, which happens to, again, be an up-to-date article. So I'll hit approve. I can undo that by hitting undo and move on to the next thing. Here's one that didn't go so well with the NLP. Acute viral encephalitis in children, treatment and prevention, nearly the same topic, and here it maps it to COVID-19. I'm going to actually just map it to the herpes encephalitis. So again, it goes straight to the primary disease diagnosis reassignment. Unfortunately, you do have to spell things correctly in this box because the search is a little bit brittle, but that is, that's current limitation at least. So anyway, that's how that goes. Chenara, do you have any questions about that workflow?
No, I think you clarified my biggest concern was with the edit, not matching in the primary topic, not matching the article topic. But I get now that we have to go in and physically reassign. Yeah.
This is what we're doing is basically supervising machine learning. So the machine learning behind the natural language processing has a ways to improve, and it's one of the harder things for it to do is to understand non-radiology articles, because there is this gap in knowledge that has to go from an internal medicine concept and map it to a radiology concept. So But once this is submitted, this goes into a queue that a faculty editor reviews and approves, and they can very rapidly click yes, 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 because my experience has been anything that people are submitting is a really good assignment. And so it allows us to have the two-step process of a draft and a final signature. But it also, and at that point, anyone accessing this article right here, a medical student looking up how to admit a patient with suspected viral encephalitis, gets the correct and reasonable related diagnoses and differential diagnoses in Orbit, and in this case signed by an authority in pediatric neuroradiology, which is great, and then some sensible recommended imaging. In the next version that's coming out, look for these little text entries to be editable. So these text entries are now going to allow you to say, for instance, use this type of procedure in renal failure, use this in pregnancy. And then up here, you're going to be able to say, this one's going to be T1 hyperintense, T2 hypointense, and does not enhance. And I think that's going to dramatically improve the context for how to actually act on this list of diseases or this list of procedures. And that's going to be us as collaborators stitching that together en masse. And we've done a great job in the first 6 months alone with over 3,000 diseases that together we've edited and refined through this platform. And I think my hope is that the common work list is just going to accelerate that process, because we're eliminating the friction of a human having to manually assign cases and check in and stuff like that. Well, if there's no other questions, I'm going to let you get back to your day. Thank you again for working with us, Chenara. I genuinely appreciate it. And to have emergency radiology fellow working on the emergency medicine primary topics, for instance, very resonant, and all of this leads to better quality patient care ultimately, and then hopefully better education for the med students that use this, and for the radiology residents that start to use this platform.
Sure. So I can work on either the differential and procedure revisions or the primary disease topic reassignments, or both of those sort of concurrent ventures. Okay.
Exactly. And this will be a bit of a code edit, but these sorts of, the scoreboard will reflect, you'll get a point for every primary disease topic you reassign. That'll go to your total, and you'll get 1 point for every disease that you edit. So this is the primary disease topic that you might edit 3 DX entries under the differential diagnosis. You'll get 3 points for that. Or if you suggest 3 procedures, you'll get, and they're accepted, you get 3 points for those accepted procedures. So it works really nicely in terms of giving you credit relative to the effort. But also, like, if you're tired of thinking about differentials and you want to just go through primary disease topic assignments for a bit, it still allows you to engage in a tremendously meaningful way, because this getting the right topic assigned is the lifeblood of this kind of approach. So
sure. So once an action, or sorry, an article and topic are approved, do they fall off of the queue, or?
Yeah, in fact, they fall off the queue right after you assign whether you approve or edit. Either way, it's going to fall off of your queue, and it's going to actually fall off of everybody's queue, and it's going to go into the faculty editor queue.
I see. So if we approve it accidentally and we need to edit it, how do we locate it?
It's easy. When you approve, it actually just goes into this state that says approved, and then you can hit undo. So that works just fine.
Okay. So don't navigate away from the page, though.
That's right. Well, yeah, if you refresh this page, it will drop off the list. Until you refresh the page, it'll stay, and you can reverse it. I wouldn't worry too much if you're 5 minutes down the road, you have a regret about a assignment that you made, because there's still a chance for an editor, a faculty editor, to reassign that. The other way you can actually go back and reassign it, if you want, is go to the recent history tab, and you'll see the articles you've been accessing. So if I don't like that I assigned acute viral encephalitis to herpes encephalitis, I can just click directly on this card right here, open up the Orbit discovery bar, and reassign. So the way you reassign a topic here is you'll hit the minus sign. Now you can add a primary diagnosis. You can see all this went away, but it's not erasing the differential that goes underneath the topic. It's just saying, I don't agree with this topic being the best topic, primary disease topic. So now let's say, see, it says previously deleted, I can even restore it. Maybe I want to go crazy and suggest appendicitis for this. So I'm going to hit plus, and it's going to go onto my view, but it's going to go into the editor's queue for approval or rejection. And an editor is going to see that, of course, and make the right call there. But for now, I'm going to revert this just so I don't have to see it on the editor queue. So I'm going to, oh, it looks like in this particular version, it didn't actually retain the previously deleted one, which is a bit surprising. But what did you say, herpes?
Herpes encephalitis.
Thank you again, Chenara, and have a good rest of your day. I'll catch you later.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.